This stretch of the River Wharfe takes a wide, meandering path through the floodplain, and is an excellent site to look at some of the clues about what's happening under the surface. Water has three properties. Firstly, it's powerful. 1 litre of water weighs 1 kilogram, and 1 cubic metre of water weighs 1 metric tonne. The flow of water is a powerful erosive force that shapes our landscape and can be a serious hazard to people. Secondly, it's relentless and just keeps on flowing. Finally, it's predictable. Water will always follow the same path through a channel or over an obstacle. We're going to look at how to spot changes in the river flow that give clues to hazards hiding below. White water on river surfaces indicates turbulence in the current. This is often caused by rocks and is a good indication of an uneven river bed. So swimming or diving in these areas can be really dangerous. A smooth flow indicates the river may have a smooth bed or be deep enough that rocks below the surface don't affect the surface flow. But this doesn't mean the water is safe to dive in or swim. When the water comes around the bend of the meander, the flow will be fastest on the outside and slowest on the inside. This means more erosion on the outside of the bends and usually means the river will be at its deepest there. Eddies are a useful feature to be able to recognise. These are calm patches of water next to a fast flow and can be areas of relative safety for people who get into difficulty. Large obstructions like a boulder can create an eddy behind it. Eddies can be found by looking for a line of water that separates the fast flow from a calm patch. Man-made features can also affect the flow in a river. Bridge supports and stepping stones narrow the channel. This forces water to speed up when passing through. You can see how the flow rate increases on the downstream side of the bridge and stones. At stepping stones, take note of any warning signs. If you're allowed to cross, take care, as the flow may be stronger than expected. The Strid Channel is only about 1 metre wide and it contains the same volume of water as further upstream. The channel has cut a vertical path through a fault line in the rock and essentially tipped the river onto its side. This is one of the most deadly stretches of water in North Yorkshire. Rescue for people who've fallen in is practically impossible as the flow is too dangerous for rescue divers to enter. The water undercuts the banking due to the fast flow across the rock. The narrowing channel increases the flow rate, which speeds up erosion. This creates an extremely turbulent channel with invisible hazards, such as caves and overhanging rock ledges. The exact depth is unknown, but in some areas it could be as deep as the height of 2 double-decker buses. The turbulence of the channel aerates the water, which reduces its density. Normally we would float in water as our bodies are similar density, but as the water in the Strid contains more air, we would sink. At this location, the bankside is quite slippery and covered in moss. Getting too close or attempting to jump the Strid are extremely dangerous and should be avoided. Waterfalls are natural features that occur when a river flows over a steep cliff. This creates unique hydraulics, which is the physics of how water moves, and the resulting flow can be dangerous for swimmers. There are powerful erosive forces that cut vertically into the river below the waterfall. This creates an area called a plunge pool, which is typically deeper than the main river. These forces can also carve out the rock behind the waterfall, creating a cave. Water circulates in the plunge pool, creating a current that holds objects caught inside within the cycle. The frothing water is also aerated, which lowers its density, which makes it hard for people to stay afloat. Plunge pools can be extremely dangerous places to swim, especially when water levels are high because the current is strongest. There are often submerged rocks and undercuts hidden by the turbulent water, which pose an additional risk for people swimming or jumping in. The rate of flow of the water can increase a lot as it gets to the top of the falls. This can catch swimmers out and carry them over the edge. Waterfalls can be noisy, so it can make it difficult to be heard if you're calling for help. The turbulent white water can also make it difficult to see dangers in the waterfall. Sites like the River Wharf at Linton can be deceptive. They appear safe with good access to reasonably calm and shallow water, but this stretch of water has had several near misses and claimed 2 lives within a year of each other. People factors can make any stretch of water more dangerous, and beauty spots are popular locations for drinking and substance abuse. These have the effect of reducing coordination, impairing judgment, lowering reaction times while increasing confidence. This makes risk-taking behaviour more likely. Peer pressure can also lead people into taking risks in the water they otherwise would have avoided. Weaker swimmers can be pressured into water they are not comfortable in, which can cause them to panic. Visitors frequently underestimate how cold open water can be, often not bringing swimwear offering appropriate protection or changes of clothes. Diving into cold water can cause cold water shock, which makes it hard to control breathing and movement of limbs, and can lead to drowning even in relatively shallow water. Cold water also rapidly decreases core body temperature, which can cause hypothermia if exposed for too long. A drop in body temperature of only 2 degrees can trigger symptoms of hypothermia, and if body temperature continues to fall, this can lead to death. During high flow, this stretch of river is popular with kayakers, but the falls in particular have turbulent whitewater current and hide many submerged dangers. The falls have carved a rough channel which flows unevenly over the rocks and has created undercuts and channels through some of the rocks. These features can trap swimmers and kayakers and are a serious collision hazard. Similar to waterfalls, weirs have a steep drop in the river levels. Weirs raise the level of the water upstream and increase the speed of the flow downstream. Water flowing over the weir collides with the water already in the channel and is forced back towards the weir, creating a relentless circular current known as a retentive current. This is stronger the higher the rate of flow and the deeper the water. The point where the circulating current meets the flow in the channel is called the boil line. Water flowing over the weir and caught in the circulating current becomes aerated, which significantly lowers its density. The water can be impossible to swim out of. Weirs have been known to trap canoes and paddleboards in the retentive current, and because it's so dangerous, rescue can be impossible. The area around weirs can be prone to flooding, as evidenced here in Burbridge by the erosion and damage to vegetation and trash lines along the bankside. During periods of flooding, natural strainers become an increased risk. Debris, like this dead tree, can act as a sieve, allowing water to flow through gaps in the branches. This increases the pressure of water behind the object, which can pin swimmers against the debris. This example of a weir shows how a significant volume of the flow is channeled through the old mill building. This reduces the risk on the face of the weir, but increases the risk around the mill. Evidence of debris build-up can be seen caught in the grates, which could act as a strainer, trapping swimmers against the blockage. While lakes are natural formations, reservoirs are usually man-made. These water reserves are likely to be very cold and deep, and jumping in can cause cold water shock. Lakes and reservoirs are often found in remote locations, which can make calling for help difficult because of gaps in mobile networks, so this can make emergency response slow. Reservoirs can have steep sides, which can make getting out difficult. Large bodies of water can tire out swimmers who go beyond their own capability. This can cause swimmers to get into difficulties in areas which are hard to reach. Some reservoirs have hidden machinery or pipes with strong currents flowing over them. These hidden hazards can act as man-made strainers. Most of the reservoir water is still, which creates a breeding ground for bacteria, which can pollute the water, making it dangerous to drink. In reservoirs where use of water is shared, boats, windsurfers and jet skis can all present collision hazards to swimmers. Typically, the area designated for water sports will be marked out by buoys, and signs will let you know of times when the water can be used by certain groups. Every year, millions of people visit the coast, but a lot of people are unaware of the different hazards that coastal water brings. When visiting the seaside, pay particular attention to the tide timings. Each beach will have a different time for high and low tides. On average, the difference in height is around 3 metres, which is enough to fully submerge a classroom. Another potential hazard is a riptide or rip. These are strong currents running out to sea. Riptides can be difficult to spot, but are sometimes identified by a channel of churning, choppy water on the sea's surface, which can quickly drag people and debris away from the shallows of the shoreline and out to deeper water. They tend to flow at 1 to 2 miles per hour, but can reach 4 to 5 miles per hour, which is faster than an Olympic swimmer. Whilst at the beach, look out for the different safety flags. A red and yellow stripe flag means that lifeguards are on patrol, and you should only swim in the areas between these flags. A red flag means it's too dangerous to swim and you should not go in the water. A quartered black and white flag indicates an area for surfing, but it's not safe for swimming. If you want to swim in open water, remember these 5 things. Stick together. Whether they swim with you or watch you from the shore, always make sure you have someone with you who can call for help if you get into difficulties. Read the signs. If the landowner has put up signage saying the water isn't safe to enter, be in the know. There could be dangerous currents, obstacles or poor water quality, even if it looks okay on the surface. Acclimatise. Cold water shock kills. Jumping or diving into cold water can cause the body's temperature to decrease dramatically, making it difficult to breathe and swim. Paddling or wading gives your body the chance to adjust to the temperature and helps reduce that risk. What lies beneath? Unexpected obstacles, strong undercurrents and hidden depths are all dangers to experienced and non-experienced swimmers alike. If in doubt, stay out. If you're at all unsure of the water temperature, depth or quality, or don't know if there are any hidden dangers such as obstacles or undercurrents, don't risk it. Swim at a life-guarded area instead. Please remember, respect the water.